With us here on Breakfast Central, the United States Congress is considering a bill that could impose sweeping sanctions on 12 northern Nigerian governors, top judges and traditional rulers over alleged complicity in what American lawmakers call a Christian genocide and systemic persecution under Nigeria's Sharia and blasphemy law.
My people, this is one story shaking both Abuja and Washington right now, and I need you to stay with me from the beginning to the end, because this one is deep. Please, as you're listening, kindly like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share, because what is happening between Nigeria and the United States over Sharia law could change everything. Now, let's dive in. So, here's the gist. The United States Congress is currently debating a bill that could hit Nigeria very hard. We're talking about visa bans, asset freezes, and international sanctions. Why? Because some American lawmakers are accusing Nigeria of religious persecution, especially against Christians in the northern part of the country. They are calling it a Christian genocide, and they are not mincing words. The proposed law is called the Nigeria Religious Freedom Accountability Act of 2025. It was introduced by Senator Ted Cruz, and it follows former President Donald Trump's dramatic announcement where he officially designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern, or CPC. Trump said thousands of Christians have been killed, and he wants action immediately. In his own words, Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. That's powerful language. He even instructed the U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and the House Appropriations Committee to investigate and report back. Now, according to this new bill, the United States will identify Nigerian officials, governors, judges, and traditional rulers who they say have either enforced or tolerated what they call blasphemy laws under Sharia, or looked the other way while violence was carried out in the name of religion. That's where the 12 northern states come in. Let's break that down clearly. Between 1999 and 2000, right after Nigeria returned to civilian rule, something major happened. Zamfara State, under Governor Ahmad Sani Yerima, became the first to expand the application of Sharia from personal matters like marriage and inheritance to include criminal and moral law. Within just 2 years, about 12 northern states followed. Those are Zamfara, Kano, Sokoto, Katsina, Bauchi, Borno, Jigawa, Kebbi, Yobe, Kaduna, Niger, and Gombe. These states adopted Sharia-based penal codes and established Sharia courts alongside regular secular courts. To Muslims, this was about preserving moral and religious values. But to critics, especially in the West, it raised questions about human rights, freedom of religion, and equal protection under the law. Please like this video right now if you are following, because this is where the controversy really begins.
Under this new U.S. bill, those very states are now being described as zones where blasphemy laws are institutionalized, laws that, according to Washington, violate international religious freedom norms. The U.S. believes these laws target Christians and other minorities. But the Nigerian government is not taking that quietly. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has released an official note rejecting the U.S. accusations. According to Nigeria, the constitution is clear. The country is secular, freedom of religion is guaranteed, and no one is forced to practice Sharia. Please like this video right now if you're following, because this issue is attracting the attention of world leaders. They explained that Sharia only applies to Muslims and only within those states where it has been adopted. Non-Muslims, they say, are not bound by Sharia criminal codes. The statement also reminded everyone that Nigeria's constitution forbids any state religion and that any Sharia ruling can still be appealed in secular courts. In other words, the government says Sharia is not above the constitution. Now, let's balance it a bit. The U.S. Congress, led by Senator Ted Cruz, says it's not buying that defense. They argue that since 2009, over 52,000 Christians have been killed, 20,000 churches destroyed, and hundreds of communities attacked, often in northern Nigeria, and that local authorities have failed to protect victims or punish attackers. Please like this video right now if you're following, because you need to understand the different angles to this story. They also highlight several tragic blasphemy cases. For instance, Deborah Samuel, the student who was lynched in Sokoto in 2022 after being accused of insulting Prophet Muhammad, or the cases of Usman Buddha in 2023 and Bridget Agabihime in 2016, all killed by mobs in the name of blasphemy. Those incidents, they say, show a pattern of impunity, and that's what this new U.S. bill is targeting. But from Nigeria's side, officials insist the violence is not about religion at all. They say what the U.S. calls Christian persecution is actually terrorism, banditry, and criminal activity that affects Muslims and Christians alike. Boko Haram and ISWAP kill Muslims too. The government says Nigeria remains fully committed to freedom of belief and the rule of law, and that no one has been executed for blasphemy under federal law. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Still, the bill is moving fast. Under Section 3 of the draft law, the U.S. Secretary of State must, within 90 days of passage, submit a list of Nigerian officials accused of violating religious freedom. Once that list is out, those named could face travel bans, frozen bank accounts, and exclusion from global financial systems under the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Act. That's serious.
Meanwhile, President Tinubu's team says he will meet with Donald Trump to discuss the issue directly. His aide, Daniel Bwala, said the meeting will focus on clarifying misconceptions about terrorism in Nigeria and reinforcing counter-terrorism cooperation between both countries. Bayo Onanuga, another presidential advisor, also said Tinubu saw this coming and has already directed the new service chiefs to take decisive action against emerging armed groups in the North Central and Northwest. He quoted Tinubu saying, "We must not allow these new threats to fester. Nigerians expect results, not excuses." So, where does all this leave us? For the United States, this is about human rights and international accountability. For Nigeria, it's about sovereignty and cultural identity. The 12 northern states see Sharia as a reflection of their faith and local values, not a system of persecution. But here's the truth. Both sides have valid points. Religious violence in Nigeria is real. Thousands have died. Churches and mosques have been destroyed. But at the same time, many of these conflicts are driven by deeper social and economic problems, poverty, unemployment, and weak governance. If the U.S. imposes sanctions now, it could isolate Nigerian officials, especially from those 12 states, but it might also harden local resistance and worsen mistrusts between Christians and Muslims. That's why this issue is delicate. My people, let's be honest. The Sharia debate in Nigeria is not new. It has always walked a fine line between faith and politics, and now it's gone international. As this story unfolds, we must ask ourselves, can the U.S. pressure lead to reform, or will it only create more division? And how will Nigeria manage to defend its legal system without looking like it's defending intolerance? Please like this video and subscribe to this channel right now if you believe Nigeria needs both justice and balance. And drop your thoughts in the comment section. Should the U.S. go ahead with sanctions, or should dialogue come first? Because one thing is clear, this storm is not just about religion, it's about identity, sovereignty, and the future of Nigeria's place in the world. And, as always, don't forget to subscribe, because this story is far from over.